Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Our lesson today is about grammar, past simple and past continuous tenses. That is اللي هو في زمن الماضي البسيط والماضي المستمر in English language. Inshallah, today we are going to talk about these two tenses, okay, in order to express completed actions in the past as past simple, to describe ongoing actions in the past continuous as well, the sequence past events using both tenses, and to narrate past stories or events effectively, express past habits or background information. Also, to learn to use the past simple and past continuous tenses to describe past states or past events or conditions, situations that were true or ongoing in the past. Another objective also is to develop skills in accurately conveying reported statements, questions, or thoughts from the past within a narrative context. Inshallah, the key terms that we are going to focus on in this lecture: past simple tense as the most important, that it's the title of this lesson, okay? And of course, that tense or this term refers to the tense used to describe completed actions, habits, or states that occurred at a specific point in the past. And the second is past continuous tense, which refers to the tense used to describe ongoing or continuous actions that were happening at a particular past moment or during a specified time period. Regular verbs. This is one of the most important grammar points that we should know. That is regular verbs. As you know, verbs are two types: regular verbs, that is ed form, or irregular verbs. Regular verbs, that verbs forming their past simple and past participle forms by adding ed. That the past and past participle end with ed, that is syllable, to the base form, like for example walk, walked. We can say play, played. These ed form verbs. Irregular verbs, that verbs do not follow the regular ed. They don't end with ed. They have different pattern, different endings, that is to say. Patterns, of course, in forming the past simple and past participle forms, for example, like go, went, gone. We can say buy, bought, bought, keep, kept, kept, drive, drove, driven, so on and so forth. Progressive aspect, which is also important since we discussed progressive tense here, past progressive tense, refers to the continuous or ongoing nature of an action expressed through verb forms like the past continuous tense. Past habit refers to a repeated action or behavior that occurred regularly in the past, often described using the past simple tense. Interrupting actions here, since we talk about past simple and past continuous, we have two actions happen at the same time in the past, but one of them interrupts the other or interrupted the other. An action that interrupts an ongoing action or activity, often expressed using a combination of past simple and past continuous tenses. Reported speech. This is also important because report speech we use sometimes past continuous, or past simple and past continuous, indirectly reporting or conveying what someone said in the past, typically using reporting verbs like said, told, or asked, along with appropriate tense changes. In order to, of course, to continue and to start this lecture, of course, first I welcome you today on discussing how to master the past simple and past continuous tenses in English grammar. In this session, we will delve into the fundamental concepts, usage, and the structure of these tenses to enhance your ability to accurately describe past actions, events, and states. Whether you are a beginner or looking to refine your understanding of past tense forms, this lecture will provide you with the knowledge and skills to effectively use these tenses in both spoken and written communication. Let's explore the nuances of past simple and past continuous tenses and elevate your language proficiency in expressing past expressions and narratives. The first, of course, tense we'll deal with, it is past simple tense. The past simple tense, of course, is used to describe completed actions or habits, states that occurred at a specific point in the past. Again, occurred at a specific point in the past. For example, we can say she visited her grandparents last week or last weekend. She visited, because we have ed form here. Okay, visited, and we said she visited her grandparents last weekend. So we have last weekends is time adverb that refers to the past. It is a completed action in the past. Example 2, for example, we can say he studied French for 2 years. He studied French for 2 years. Of course, this is past habit or repeated action for 2 years because we have a duration here in the past. Example 3, we can say the sun set at 7 p.m. yesterday. The sun set at 7 p.m. yesterday. So since we have yesterday, this means we have also what past simple. It is about state or event in the past. Regarding past continuous tense, this tense is used to describe ongoing or continuous actions that were happening at a particular past moment or during a specified time period. Of course, I said past, in the past. So a continuous action in the past. For example, I was watching TV when she called me. It's ongoing action interrupted by another action. So I was watching TV when she called me. Another example, we can say they were playing soccer at 3 p.m. yesterday. They were playing. Look at this. We have here to differentiate. That is regarding past continuous. We have either was or were. Was for, and we'll discuss this in details later, inshallah. But I just want to mention that was for, or with singular subjects and I, and were with, of course, plural subjects, you, we, they, or any plural noun. So this is why we have said here what they were playing soccer at 3 p.m. yesterday. So we point what the time that they were playing soccer. It was at 3 p.m. yesterday. Ongoing action at specific time in the past. Example 3, we can say she was studying for the exam all night. Okay, she was studying for her exam all night. So it is a continuous action over a period of time as well. Now, using both tenses, that is together, okay, this is regarding or to discuss or to deal with sequences events. And we use that past simple with past continuous. The past simple and past continuous tenses can be used together to sequence past events, especially when one action interrupts another ongoing action. So, for example, while I was cooking dinner, the phone rang. It's ongoing action interrupted by a specific event. While I was cooking dinner, the phone rang. This is the interrupt action. The phone rang while I was cooking. That's it. Another example, we can say they were walking in the park when it started raining. They were walking in the park when it started raining. So also another ongoing action coinciding with the start of another action. Another also point, which is reporting speech in the past. Reporting speech in the past. When reporting speech or thoughts from the past simple and past continuous tenses are used to convey indirect speech. For example, direct speech, we can say, quoted, of course. She said, I am reading a book. I am reading a book. This is, a direct speech or direct speech. Indirect speech, she said that she was reading a book. She said that she was reading a book. Okay, the direct speech is I am reading a book, but in indirect speech we say she said that she was reading a book. Example 2, also direct speech, we can say quoted. Of course, he asked with a quotation. What are you doing? A question. Indirect speech, or this indirect question, he asked what he was doing. Of course, what he was doing. Now, by using these examples, learners can grasp the distinctions between the past simple and past continuous tenses and understand how to apply them effectively in various contexts, such as describing past actions, events, habits, and reported speech. Now, let's discuss the main topics of the lecture here, since we introduced the lecture. Okay, now let's talk about the main points of this lecture. One, of course, main topic is past simple tense. The past simple, as we discussed earlier, is used to describe completed actions, habits, states that occurred at a specific point in the past. It's often associated with regular verbs by adding ed to the base form, and this is known, of course. We add ed to the base form of the verb. And irregular verbs, that is changing form entirely sometimes. We have different types of irregular verbs. We'll discuss and we'll give you examples on them later, inshallah. Here are detailed explanations and examples about the simple past. Here, regular verbs, as we discussed briefly previously, regular verbs form their past simple and past participle, that's verb 2, and verb 3 forms by adding ed to the base form. For example, he walked to school yesterday. He walked, walk ed, but the pronunciation, of course, this is t sound. So he walked to school yesterday. Base form walk. Another example, she played the piano when she was young. She played the piano when she was young. Also, base form is play, and we add ed to express what past event. Example 3, they cleaned the house last weekend. They cleaned, as you know, this is regular verb as well. We know the base form is clean. This is related to or regarding what we call regular verbs. Now, about irregular verbs. Irregular verbs have unique past simple and past participle forms that do not follow the regular ed pattern. So that we don't have a specific rule for forming the irregular verbs. Sometimes they are all different, like go, went, gone, do, did, done, see, saw, seen. Okay. Sometimes, the base form of the verb is different from this, two and third, which are the similar, like buy, bought, think, thought. We can say like keep, kept, build, built. And sometimes they are all the same, like cut, put, set, let, so on and so forth. So this is why they don't follow regular rule or a certain pattern, with the past and past participle. So they are sometimes similar, sometimes different, and sometimes they are all different. For example, we can have here, she ate breakfast at 8 a.m. She ate. This means, of course, ate is the past of eat. Okay, past of eat. Eat, ate, eaten. So ate is the simple past tense. Example 2, we can say he went to the store to buy milk. He went. And we know base form is go. And of course, past simple is went. So we said he went to the store to buy milk. Of course, this indicates or presents the past tense, that is went, of the verb go. Another example, that they saw a movie last night. They saw a movie last night. So is the past of see, as you know, that, and so is the past simple. Expressing past habits and states. The past simple tense is also used to describe past habits, routines, or repeated actions. For example, she always woke up early when she was a child. She always woke up early when she was a child. So habitual action, of course, in the past. So we use she always woke up, the past of wake up. Another example, that he studied Spanish in college. He studied Spanish in college. Now, also we have here studied, the express what simple past, and it is, the past form of study, studied. Example 3, they owned a dog for many years. They owned a dog for many years. So state of condition as, or, state or condition that is, that they own something. Now, topic 2, or the second topic that we'll discuss also, which is the most, another important topic in our lesson today, is past continuous tense. And past continuous tense is used to describe ongoing or continuous or progressive actions that were happening. They were happening, these events or continuous actions, at a specific past moment or during a specified time period in the past, of course. It's formed with the past tense of the verb to be, that is was or were, and the present participle ing of the main verbs. So that's to say, to form past continuous, we need was, were plus ing verb. That was for singular subject, or I was, he was, she was, it was, and were for the plural form, either pronouns or nouns. So we use was or were, then the main verb must be followed by ing, and the present participle, which is called here ing form of the main verb. Here are some detailed explanations and examples for how to form the past continuous. We talked about it. Now, past continuous is formed with was for singular subjects and were for plural subjects, as I discussed earlier, followed by, of course, the present participle, which is ing form. Now, the main verb, of course, form ing form of the main verb. For example, she was reading a book when I called her. She was reading a book. She was reading a book when I called her. Look at this. We have two actions happened at the same time, as he said, continuous action in the past. Example 2, while they were playing soccer, it started raining. While they were, look at they followed by were, and we have ing form. It started raining. It's an ongoing action at a specific time, also in the past. The second point is interrupting actions. That's, we have two actions occur in the past at the same time, one interrupted the other. So the past continuous tense is often used to describe an ongoing action that was interrupted by another action in the past. For example, as I was cooking dinner, the phone rang. As I was cooking dinner, the phone rang. It's an ongoing action. That's I was cooking dinner and interrupted by another, that is the phone rang. Another example, she was studying when her friend arrived. She was studying when her friend arrived. Also interrupted continuous action or ongoing action. Simultaneous actions, also the same actions. At the same time, we use past continuous in this. That's, we have two actions also were continuous or ongoing actions. Past continuous is also used to describe two ongoing actions happening simultaneously, that's at the same time in the past. For example, while she was sleeping, he was working on his project. While she was sleeping, this is the first continuous action, and we have he was working on his project, also two actions, ongoing actions happening at the same time, two simultaneous actions, that's say in the past. Now the topic 3 here, we can use both tenses together. You can use both tenses together. We discussed this, of course, that is both past simple, of course, with examples that I mentioned earlier. Both the past simple and past continuous tenses can be used together to provide a more detailed descriptions of past events, especially when one action interrupts another ongoing action. Here are detailed explanation and some examples based on this. Interrupting actions, when one action interrupts another ongoing action, the past continuous is used for the ongoing action, and the past simple is used for interrupting actions. For example, while she was reading, he knocked on the door. So while she was reading, he knocked on the door. Or, we have here, of course, ongoing actions while she was reading, and we have interrupted by another action. Example 2, when they were having, dinner, the power went out, When they were having dinner, the power went out, interrupting action as well during an ongoing action. Simultaneous, the second point here related to this, simultaneous action, both tenses can also be used to describe two simultaneous actions in the past, as we also discussed earlier. For example, here we can say, as she was cooking, he was setting the table. As she was cooking, he was setting the table. Two actions happening at the same time in the past. Sequencing events, and this is for to teach you how to write, let's say, discussing or describing events, okay? Sequence, that is say. Using both tenses together helps in sequencing past events or actions, indicating which action happened first or how actions were related to time. For example, and this is also related to mainly simple past, okay? After she cleaned the house, she watched a movie, okay? After she cleaned the house, she watched a movie. There is something here, a point I want to say, talking about, events here or sequencing events, like after. We use, in addition to using that is simple past, also with this another simple past tense, like this tense sentence, we can use also simple past with past perfect, that is had plus past participle, okay? So both are right in this case. This is sequence of actions, as I said, and by exploring these three topics in detail with the previous examples, learners can gain a thorough understanding of how to effectively use the past simple and past continuous tenses in various contexts, including describing completed actions, ongoing activities, interrupted actions, simultaneous actions, past habits, and sequencing events in narrative. Now, to sum up the lecture, okay, the lecture on past simple and past continuous tenses covered key concepts, usages, and examples. We discussed, if you remember, past simple tense describing completed actions, habits, and states in the past. Regular verbs, of course, add, when we add, of course, ed form to the base form of the verb. And also we discussed irregular verbs that have unique forms, that with different patterns. I'm talking about different past and different past participles sometimes, or they are all the same. And of course, we mentioned many examples regarding these two tenses. For example, she walked to school. He ate breakfast, which is, of course, simple past. And of course, this is something which is important to discuss past. That is here declarative sentences in past, let's say, simple tense. Still, of course, we need to talk about, that is the interrogative and negative. Sometimes we use, of course, a different rule with didn't or did, with did or didn't, that is to say, to express or to form questions and, let's say, negativity. Past continuous, another point that is we had discussed in this lecture, we described ongoing actions at a specific past moment or past, let's say, time, formed with either was or were plus ing form of the verb, or present participle, which is ing form of the verb. Examples, we can say she was reading a book, they were playing soccer, okay? Also, the same thing here, we just discussed declarative sentences, not interrogative and not negative as well. Using both tenses together, we discussed also how we can use both tenses together in the same sentence. That's say, of course, this sentence is a complex sentence because we use a linking word like while, as, like when, okay? Used for interrupting actions, simultaneous actions, and sequences events. For example, while she was reading, he knocked the door or on the door. Also, we can say, for example, as she was cleaning the house, her friend phoned her. As you know, two actions occurs at the same time. Two actions occurred at the same time in the past. One of them was continuous action, another or the other was, just simple, that interrupted the action, the continuous action. Activities for learning now, this is also, I advise that is the following suggested activities that you need to go through. Of course, that is sentence completion, role play, dialogues, error corrections, tasks, and writing prompts to practice the tenses. These are some activities that you can go through and develop your skills in learning the differences between past simple and past continuous, and also the relationship between them, because they are used a lot in English grammar, and of course in learning how to write the simple the past events or past actions and express them. To sum up, the lecture aimed to enhance students' proficiency in using the past simple and past continuous tenses, providing them with the knowledge and skills to express past actions, events, habits, and narratives accurately and effectively. This is all about the usage of simple past and past continuous, and with, of course, examples, just the declarative sentence and simple sentence, okay, in addition to the complex sentence when using when, as, and why. That's it for today. Thank you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.